from Nebraska's trusted news source. This is Channel 8 News Midday.
Well, postseason play begins today for Huskers softball in their quest for a Big Ten tournament title. Of course, Nebraska has already claimed the Big Ten regular season championship. Now they're looking to double down on that crown. Here's an updated bracket this morning. All four of these games here those are quarterfinal matchups. Nebraska will take on Michigan today. The Big Reds swept the Wolverines in 3 games earlier this season. Nebraska is waking up in Maryland today, getting set for this early afternoon matchup. Here's the team boarding the plane from Nebraska. The group is on an 18-game win streak and won 23 of 24 games in the Big Ten. Head coach Rhonda Revelle confident in her team's ability to beat anyone this postseason, speaking on the Huskers Radio Network overnight.
Oh, I feel really great about our pitching staff going into postseason. Feel really good about all phases of our game. It's just a matter of staying free and being able to perform at our highest level. And we'll let the chips fall where they may, knowing all that.
Nebraska ranks second in the country by every major poll. First pitch against the Wolverines set for 12:30 this afternoon. We're going to keep track of this game on our Now Local News app and have a full breakdown tonight at 5. All right, stock weather here this morning, just gorgeous out there already. Blue skies on our Allen Communications camera, but let's get on over to meteorologist Dominic Ferraro, who's got a closer look for us in our first forecast here. Dominic, yeah, we got a good one brewing today.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. Yeah, a little bit of a different story from yesterday. It was cooler during the afternoon. I know we saw, bits of cloud cover, sunshine. It was kind of all over the place there, but now this afternoon, we're going to be hard-pressed to find even a cloud in the sky as we go through the rest of your Thursday. Temperatures also on the warmer side, back above that 70-degree mark. And we can see that here, clear skies on your Barry Law camera. Temperatures already to the mid-60s. This was warmer than we were at any point yesterday, so already off to a warm start. 67 here at the KOKN studios, and a breeze out of the south and west right now at close to 20 miles per hour there. Temperatures for most of us into the lower to mid 60s as we get started here with the lunch hour. Upper 50s and off towards the north and east. So for the most part, fairly a warm start to the day here, especially considering where we were just this time yesterday. Southwesterly winds for the moment here in southeast Nebraska, though we will see a shift to be more northwesterly as we head throughout the rest of the afternoon then today. Clear skies for the majority of us. High pressure centered over the central portions of the country. That's going to help us keep clear, especially in eastern Nebraska, though western Nebraska will see a few more clouds as we head throughout the afternoon. Temperatures today on the way to the lower to mid 70s. I think 74 is probably about the warmest we'll get here in Lincoln, then dropping back down into the 60s and 50s. Another day of the 70s coming up and a chance to hit the 80s as we head into the weekend. A couple chances for precipitation in there too. Some more details on that in a few minutes.
Talk to you then. Thank you very much, Dominic. Right now, Nebraska high school students with an interest in weather now have an opportunity to pursue that in another state. The University of Oklahoma is waiving non-resident tuition for students from Nebraska looking to join their meteorology program. This comes after UNL cut its Department of Atmospheric Sciences, including its meteorology degree last year. We've shared this story, of course, several times here of protests happening on campus, trying to reverse the minds of the Board of Regents to no avail. Now, if students are interested in this, they do need to apply, and then they need to be a meteorology major for 4 consecutive years. Now to the war in Iran. Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with Pope Leo the 14th this morning. The two speaking in closed-door meeting at the Vatican. You can see Secretary Rubio leaving the Apostolic Palace after their sit-down. It is unclear what they discussed, but Rubio says this trip is not related to recent tensions between the president and the Pope. Pope Leo has been an open critic of the war in Iran. Rubio says their meeting is part of a normal diplomatic engagement. Well, the U.S. and Iran are negotiating a new one-page agreement aimed at breaking the standoff in the Strait of Hormuz. Both sides are also looking to pave the way for a long-term deal. ABC's Christian Cordero reports.
Today, a potential path forward in the Strait of Hormuz. The Trump administration has sent Iranian negotiators a one-page memorandum of understanding that for 30 days would ease Iran's grip on the waterway and lift the U.S. naval blockade, according to officials familiar with the matter. The short-term agreement could then pave the way for a more comprehensive nuclear deal. President Trump has not set a deadline for Iran to come to the table, but has repeatedly threatened U.S. military force if they do not make certain concessions.
And we have to get what we have to get. If we don't do that, we'll have to go a big step further.
Iran has not formally responded to the memo. Officials there aren't signaling a deal is imminent, with one senior member of its parliament posting on social media the memorandum is a, quote, wish list until it becomes reality, adding Iran has its finger on the trigger and is ready.
The leverage really does seem to come down to economic pressure, with Iran obviously holding the world hostage with 20% of its energy, and the U.S. Keeping Iran from making most of the money that it needs to fund its regime by this naval blockade.
Some 1,500 ships are currently stuck waiting for a safe window to navigate through the strait. The captain of one of those vessels shared this video with Al Jazeera Arabic.
We are total 24 crew member on board, and we are stuck here ever since the war started on 28th February.
Oil prices slid today, as they often do when it appears the U.S. and Iran are working towards a potential deal. Gas prices are still up. According to Gas Buddy in the U.S., they are now averaging $4.56 per gallon of regular. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Breaking overnight, a domestic disturbance in Cass County ends with a deadly crash near Elmwood. Deputies say a woman called 911 reporting her husband was ramming her car and trying to run her off the road near Highway 1. They say the suspect, 65-year-old Kevin LePage of Eagle, later crashed into an outbuilding near Elmwood after driving through a field. They say he was found dead in his car. Several agencies, including the Nebraska State Patrol, are now investigating. New details on how much it really costs to be a volunteer firefighter. With Nebraska's recent struggles with wildfires, many volunteer firefighters have joined the fight over the last several months. This chart here from the Dana Brock Fire Department out by Grand Island details the real cost of a 48-hour deployment. They say 3 days of missed work can lose volunteers $600 to $1,500 each. And with 48-hour continuous response, that means working in dangerous conditions with minimal sleep and long operation periods, as well as extreme heat and smoke exposure. So something that's not for the faint of heart. Now to a story only on 8, a medical mystery that one Catholic community says was solved by faith.
What we do know is that, God shown his grace upon her.
A Lincoln student makes a full recovery after facing death. You often hear about medical mysteries that doctors struggle to solve, but this morning a church is speaking out about the power of prayer. Danielle Da Silva visited the student's school to speak with her priest and classmates.
We believe in the power of prayer. We believe in the reality of miracles, unexplainable, from science, from medicine.
Monsignor Thomas Fusinaro is a priest at the Cathedral of the Risen Christ School in Lincoln, where 11-year-old Mila Wynn attended. Before learning that Mila became ill and would be leaving school right before Holy Week began, he says he saw her as an academic superstar who was kind to all, an absence that would be felt. Classmate Cecilia Peace couldn't believe it.
You've always know these things can happen, but you don't expect it to happen to you. The only thing you could do is pray.
Medical experts feared Mila was headed towards death.
We really feared that we were going to lose Mila, and she just simply wasn't responding. There was so much pressure on the brain. There was discussions about if they would need to do a craniotomy.
Filled with faith, they encouraged Mila's family, classmates, and the large Vietnamese community she's a part of to keep praying.
In that hospital room at Children's Hospital, the whole gamut. Children, little children praying, and 90-year-old elders in the community, and praying the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, praying along with the family.
Prayers also sent by Mila's classmates.
We started making spiritual bouquets right when we first found out she was sick.
Boys Town priest Monsignor Guild also there, encouraging to pray through the intercession of Father Flanagan, a specific prayer for miracles. And just as suddenly as her sickness began, her symptoms began to go away.
We began to see really later in Holy Week some signs that, of some progress, the little signs of assistance.
Then after Easter, what's referred to as a celebration of God's healing, more improvements came. Doctors could not explain it.
God has other plans, and with the passage of those days, again, just each day brought with it more signs of hope, more signs of healing and progress.
Mila began to eat, talk, and pray, sending her school principal this audio clip from today.
Without me, you can do nothing. John 15.
Danielle Da Silva for Channel 8 News.
Coming up after the break, faith and food. Learn about the breakfast event uniting people of different religions and cultures under one roof this morning. together. Many faith leaders and community members all coming under one roof for the mayor's interfaith prayer breakfast. You can see just how packed it was at venue 522 earlier this morning. Mayor Gaylor Baird says it's an opportunity to embrace and celebrate the diverse religious and cultural traditions in the city. Renowned and young writers also got to share their work with their neighbors. We're going to hear from some of those people coming up tonight at 5. Well, the average American would spend almost their entire yearly income for peace of mind, according to a new research. And Peloton says its turnaround plans are gaining traction. Jane King explains in today's Wellness Report.
Peloton touted growth in equipment sales and subscription revenue is helping to drive its sales and profitability. After strong sales during the pandemic, things have slowed down for Peloton. Last month, in fact, it announced a deal with Spotify, making more than 1,400 Peloton classes available to Spotify subscribers. Well, the average woman takes 5 months to emotionally bounce back from pregnancy and 6 months to bounce back physically. And confidence is also affected. While more respondents recall having a harder time bouncing back physically, more than a third said mental recovery was more difficult, and nearly a quarter said it was equally hard either way. This was conducted by Talker Research for Intimina, and the survey found 77% of women said their body has never gone back to how it was before having a child. Well, in a time when the economy is uncertain, foreign affairs are teetering on edge and people are scrambling to make ends meet, a survey of 2,000 adults sought to uncover just how much Americans are willing to pay for peace of mind. According to the results, those polled have an average household income of about $79,000 a year, yet they'd be willing to shovel out nearly 3/4 of that, about $57,000, for security and serenity. That's according to Dr. Jenny Martin, a founder of Gemstone Wellness, and she says this high price tag might have more to do with an actual need for security than a desire to avoid the unexpected. From the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Here's to your health.
And while the past couple of days were on the cooler side for early May, warmer temperatures are in store for southeast Nebraska going forward. I'll have a look at your full forecast coming up after the break.
From big moments to local victories, we're here for all the action. Sports stories that go beyond the scoreboard. Every team, every matchup, every night, we're on your sideline. Channel 8, bringing you Nebraska now.
We are the Dillos. We are from Northern Kentucky. Being out in a rural area, coverage is pretty hit and miss with other carriers. So switching to T-Mobile solved a lot of problems that we had.
I'm able to use T-Satellite now. When you need to communicate, you can communicate.
America's best network needs off-the-grid satellite coverage with T-Satellite. Plus, over the past 5 years, T-Mobile customers had the lowest wireless bills versus Verizon and AT&T. And enjoy a 5-year price guarantee on experience plans.
The value that we get with T-Mobile is excellent.
Children's Nebraska. Believe in better.
Grow your family's Christian faith and share the love of God with others with ABC Book and Bible House. Browse the book selection, share a greeting card, surprise the little ones, and the perfect place for all your shopping needs. ABC Book and Bible House, the Christian bookstore with so much more.
I'm Roy Christensen, and I've been helping people hear better for over 30 years because here at Christensen Hearing Analytics, we believe that better hearing is better living. We have the solutions you need, so don't be left out of the conversation. Write the happy ending to your hearing story by contacting Christensen Hearing Analytics today.
Breaking overnight now, severe weather tearing through the south. Storms bringing heavy rain, flooding, and tornadoes to the region. Right next to me here, you can see trees being cleared off of Highway 51 in Jackson, Mississippi, almost like a plow taking away the snow from the roads. Reed Binion reports on the damage.
55 southbound. It's crazy. Multiple tornadoes ripped through Mississippi overnight, leaving a trail of destroyed homes and injured victims in their wake.
That sucker came right through there, bro. We can't even get through here, bro.
One massive twister toppling trees and blocking parts of a highway.
It knocked all this down. There ain't no power lines or nothing out this way.
The storms also knocked down power lines, with tens of thousands of homes and businesses across Mississippi without power as of late Wednesday, according to poweroutage.us. Collapsed trees also blocking a roadway next to a hard-hit mobile home park. There were also reports of residents trapped, but dangerous conditions slowed rescue efforts, authorities said. The extreme weather impacted large portions of the South, including thunderstorms, and at one point a flood watch in place for more than 10 million people. Parts of Alabama saw severe flooding. In Montgomery Wednesday, the State House had to be evacuated because of flooding during local storms. This as other regions struggle to recover from severe weather in their communities.
Coming back in, we still had 6 inches of water around the house.
Residents in parts of Wisconsin picking up the pieces as water levels start returning to normal after last month's flooding.
At one point, there was 3 feet of water in there from looking at flood lines.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Now, your Storm Alert Team Forecast with meteorologist Dominic Ferraro.
And as we head into Mother's Day weekend, temperatures look to be on the warmer side here for early May. I know we saw the 60s the past couple of days, but now here on our way to high temperatures, at least in the 70s for the rest of the extended forecast. There's a chance we could see a few sprinkles tonight, although I don't think it'll amount to a whole lot, with better chances then for precipitation as we head then into this weekend. Though these will be wrapped up by Mother's Day, always a good sign there. But even with these couple chances for precipitation out there, and the amount of rainfall then we'll see still on the lighter side, most of us will stay less than a tenth to then 1/4 of an inch of rain. A few spots, especially there towards the far southeastern portions of the state and far northwestern portions of the state. Could see maybe there to about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, but would like to see a little bit more, especially given the current drought situation, which we will have a look at coming up here later in the show. But for the rest of this afternoon, though, temperatures are going to be on the nice side here. Lots of blue skies out there, and we can see that on your Shows roofing camera. Just look at all that blue sky out there at South 6 and Perkins Street. Temperatures in Beatrice, the low 60s at the moment. It's the mid 60s here in the capital city, and the majority of the state here upper 50s, low 60s as we get going for our Thursday afternoon. Temperatures out towards the west here in low 60s for Grand Island, Kearney, Hastings there, 62 as well in Hebron, and the winds at the moment on the stronger side for especially us here in southeast Nebraska, between 15, 20 miles per hour out of the south and west for the moment, but we start to see those then turn to be more westerly and out of the north and west as you get out closer to Grand Island and Kearney. Clear skies for the majority of us. Got lots of high pressure out there, especially off then to our south. That's going to help keep things clear for the rest of the afternoon here in eastern Nebraska, but we will see a few clouds then work their way into western portions of the state, and with that we could see maybe a spot shower, possibly a rumble of thunder out in the panhandle as those then continue to move off towards the south and east throughout the day today. Increasing cloud cover then as we head through the overnight hours. Look at it's just a tiny little chance that we might see a sprinkle or two move through southeast Nebraska here early in the morning, and then it looks like we have a couple of chances then, especially on the Kansas-Nebraska line there just before lunchtime at a few sprinkles. But again, I think if we do see anything, maybe up to 1/10 of an inch, especially for far southeastern Nebraska out of that. Clear then as we head towards your Friday evening, and then we'll prep then for another chance for precipitation as we head into your Saturday. Now, the European model likes to keep most of this south of Interstate 80 as we head towards Saturday afternoon and into the evening. Mainly looking at showers here, though we can't rule out the chance for a rumble of thunder and maybe a stronger storm in there too, but that's something we'll have to just get a little more data on as we head going forward. But models have continued to trend this off then to the south of the interstate here, and we'll take whatever moisture we can get, but this also then will bring in some chances for south central and southwest Nebraska to see a little bit of rainfall too, but mainly looking there to be looking at showers for your Saturday forecast and maybe a thunderstorm or two. Temperatures the rest of the afternoon, mid to upper 70s here, especially along the I-80 corridor, and then to the south, upper 60s as you get out towards the northern half of the state. Then for tonight, low temperatures close to average for this time of year, into the upper 40s for us in southeast Nebraska. A little bit cooler out towards the west, but we should be just about wrapped up with that frost potential for the season as warmer temperatures look to make a stay here for the long term. Upper 70s once again for your Friday, lower 80s then on Saturday with those chances for showers. Sunday looks to be the last time we'll see high temperatures in the 70s for Mother's Day. Before then, a very warm week ahead, as we'll see high temperatures well above average in the mid to upper 80s. And it's starting to look like we could see some warmer temperatures then for our bike drive on Thursday there too. So good news there. So warmer weather on the way. Would like to see a little bit more moisture. We'll just have to keep an eye on that as we go forward.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Dominic. Happening today, the 21st Tour de Lincoln bike rides begin. The Great Plains Trails Network is inviting cyclists to celebrate National Bike Month together. They'll be exploring different areas of Lincoln throughout this month, starting with the Southwest. Today's Tour de Lincoln is 16 miles. They'll meet at the Jane Snyder Trail Center every Thursday in May, and all ages are welcome. Channel 8 is shifting into high gear as well to give back. We are partnering with the Lincoln Bike Kitchen for the 3rd annual bike drive next week. It's being held on Thursday, May 14th, right here at the Channel 8 station. We're located near 10th and Arapahoe Streets. Our team will be out in the parking lot from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night next Thursday. You can donate new or gently used bikes of all sizes as long as there is no rust. Now, U.S. health officials are keeping a hantavirus outbreak in check after the arrival of passengers from the contaminated cruise ship. That's coming up after the break.
Upgrading your facility's lighting? Wolf Electric delivers expert solutions, from energy-saving ballast to full LED system installations. Our skilled team ensures fast, efficient service with minimal disruption to your operations, backed by a 1-year warranty. Go to wolfelectric.com for your free quote today.
Please join us this Thursday for our annual bike rally.
I recently got into extreme biking.
Rod, please get down from there. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Mackenzie, trust me, okay? This is how you do a bike problem. Getting up.
Oh my God. Are you all right?
I don't think I'm gonna do this again.
Help us support the Lincoln Bike Kitchen by bringing your unwanted, gently used bikes of all sizes to KLKN on May 14th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
It's Ernie's and Soresco's incredible Memorial Day sale. Our Memorial Day sale is the time to buy new furniture, and no sale is bigger than Ernie's and Soresco's Memorial Day sale. Huge inventory of in-stock and on-sale items, home furnishings for every room marked down, and the lowest price mattresses in Nebraska, plus up to 72 months special financing. People wait for this kind of sale. Well, the waiting is over. This is the one. Ernie's and Soresco's and Ernie's Mattress First's Memorial Day sale, going on now.
Our American warriors are tough, determined, disciplined. They sacrifice their own well-being to defend our liberties, and they never leave the injured behind.
Good? Yeah, brother.
Founded and operated by American veterans and patriots, we are a personal injury law firm bringing that warrior ethos to every case. We are Barry Law.
As you examine the road ahead, are all your ducks in a row? Pre-planning with Butheris, Macer, and Love Funeral Home.
Developing now, health officials in the U.S. are keeping an eye on some passengers from a hantavirus-struck ship. Those former passengers arriving in Arizona and Georgia and are undergoing close monitoring right now. Officials say none of them are showing any symptoms of illness potentially caused by hantavirus. Here's ABC's Sabrina Roy.
Officials are racing to contain the deadly hantavirus outbreak that has killed 3 people who were on a luxury cruise ship. Dutch officials today said more than 24 passengers originally left the cruise ship without contact tracing, nearly 2 weeks after the first passenger died on board. Those passengers now being monitored, including several in U.S. states, Arizona, Georgia, and California.
We're getting reports of suspect cases or potential suspect cases. These are alerts, as we call them. Some of them have had reported links to the ship or passengers on the ship. All of those will be followed up with the relevant authorities in each country.
Health officials now suspect the first victim to contract the virus picked it up in Argentina before getting on that ship. In mid-March, she'd visited a landfill during a bird-watching tour, and officials suspect he contracted it from rodents. He likely infected his wife. There are now a total of 11 suspected cases, including a KLM flight attendant now quarantined with mild symptoms. Officials say she had contact with the first victim's wife, who died a day after the flight. 82 passengers and 6 crew members from that flight now being tracked by the World Health Organization. The WHO says a Swiss man who returned home tested positive for hantavirus yesterday. He remains hospitalized. World Health epidemiologists say this is not the next COVID-19.
But I want to be unequivocal here. This is not SARS-CoV-2. This is not the start of a COVID pandemic.
Hantavirus is a respiratory infection that can kill up to 40% of those infected. The WHO says testing so far has identified the rare Andes strain, which can spread person to person. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Still ahead, concerns over costs, why Lincoln and small businesses are struggling to keep up with the increased prices linked to the Iran war.
At Stanton, you get the best value. 2 pairs for just $79. A free eye exam, anti-glare made same day.
That's value you can actually see.
Smart, simple, Stanton.
It's hotter than a hound dog in a Nebraska heat wave.
I think we need help. I'm gonna just call Dave's.
Family-owned Dave's Heating and Air is Lincoln's heating and air experts. We install quality brine equipment and will do whatever it takes to make your home feel cool and crisp on a hot Nebraska day. Whether you need service, repairs, or a new system, the Dave's family is here for you.
Dave always saves the day.
Dave's Heating and Air, professional service you can trust.
Welcome to Comfort Made Mattress Factory's new South Point location. Every mattress is built right here just for you. Any size, any shape, any comfort level, and backed with our lifetime comfort guarantee.
Whether it's your home or your business, you know a nice lawn is important. That's where Ray's Lawn and Home Care comes in. We can meet all your residential and commercial needs. And right now, we're offering a 20% discount for new lawn treatment customers. So give us a call and sit back and enjoy your lawn. Ray's Lawn and Home Care, family owned and operated, proudly serving Lincoln and surrounding communities for 60 years.
At Stanton, we sell great frames. All sorts of frames. Over 1,000 frames, starting at just $79.
I saved money, and I see great.
Smart, simple, Stanton.
This news segment is brought to you by Sid's Deli and Subs.
Craving a mouth-watering sub sandwich? Look no further than Sid's Deli and Subs. Serving fresh, made-to-order subs with your choice of sliced meats and cheeses on our soft, fresh-baked bread. Come and taste the Sid's Deli difference. Sid's Deli and Subs, 33rd and Cornhusker, Lincoln.
Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News Midday.
Now to the Iran war and the potential controversy regarding oil trade. The Department of Justice is investigating possible suspiciously timed trades ahead of major announcements from the White House. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze explains.
We are seeing historic swings in the price of oil with every headline about the Iran war. And now we've learned that the Justice Department is investigating a series of suspiciously timed trades just ahead of major announcements about the war by President Trump. Sources tell ABC News that the DOJ, along with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, are probing at least 4 trades in the oil market where traders made a total of more than $2.6 billion betting that oil prices would drop right before they actually did. So starting on March 23rd, data from the London Stock Exchange shows just 15 minutes before Trump posted that he would delay attacking Iran's power grid, traders bet $500 million that oil prices would fall. On April 7th, a few hours before Trump announced the ceasefire, nearly $1 billion in bets on oil dropping. Similar pattern on April 17th, $760 million in trades just 20 minutes before Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz was open. And on April 21st, 15 minutes before Trump extended the ceasefire, traders bet $430 million oil would go down. We do not know the identities of these traders, but these are very big payouts that are raising concerns about insider trading. The CFTC and the DOJ are not officially commenting. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
And so far, markets are not reacting with much of this news, although you can see it's dropped a little bit here recently. Dow Jones down 155 points this morning, with oil prices also below that $100 a barrel threshold. Right now, though, gas prices are soaring in Lincoln since the start of the war. March 1st, less than 24 hours after the beginning of the Operation Epic Fury, $2.79 a gallon. Prices have only increased since then. $3.29 on March 19th, $3.59 on April 8th, and then today, May 7th, $4.19 a gallon here in Lincoln. And now some local businesses are feeling the impacts when it comes to shipments and getting products in. Channel 8's Emma Norwood explains what some of them are saying is hurting the most right now.
The war in Iran is hurting the wallets of many. From gas prices to shipping costs and deliveries, that's proving to be a problem for small businesses in Lincoln.
So costs of goods have just kind of crept up slowly but surely, along with shipping stuff. So when we do an order, it just costs us more to have it shipped here to Lincoln than it used to be.
For some, like Daniel Schmidt of Hobbytown USA, the increases seem to be causing a domino effect. Customer behaviors are changing, impacting the amount of money stores are seeing come in.
The big ticket items that we carry in the store, there's just less of them going out the door right now. So the big ticket items aren't selling as well, but we have more sales of the smaller ticket items.
With so much uncertainty surrounding the war and when we'll see relief from high prices, Schmidt says planning ahead is crucial to keep things running smoothly.
And when it comes to shipping costs, I spend a lot of my energy and time on the logistics side of the store. So I really try and stage when an order is coming in and how much it's going to be, and can I put it on a pallet or two or ship it via truck instead of, a normal shipping service like UPS or FedEx. So we're getting more trucks more often than we were before.
Reporting in Lincoln, Emma Norwood, Channel 8 News.
All right, let's get to the weather here this morning. Blue skies out there right now. Let's take a live look at our Honda of Lincoln camera. We got temps in the 60s already as well. Let's get to meteorologist Dominic Ferraro. 60s already, Dominic. I feel like we've been talking about the 40s and 50s so much at this point this week.
I know. A cooler past couple of days, though even then it wasn't too bad. But now as we head towards the end of the week here, should be just great. I know if you're planning on getting out to lunch today, great day to do it. Lots of blue skies here on your ABC Seamless camera too. A little breezy out there, but not bad. I mentioned in a social media post this morning that your trash can should stay out of your neighbor's yard, so that's always a good deal when you can say that. Temperatures here, 60s as we get ready to head out to lunch, including 65 here in the capital city. It's 62 in Beatrice, 61 in Grand Island, and the mid-60s as well once you get out towards Ogallala. So really just a pleasant start to the afternoon for most of us as we get ready then to hit the noon hour. Winds, though, still a little bit on the strong side here in southeast Nebraska, but right around 15 to close to 20 miles per hour out of the south and west. We will see that shift then out of the north and west as we head throughout the rest of the day today. Got a little cold front moving on through, but shouldn't see too many impacts out of that. Clear skies really for the eastern half of the state going forward with a few passing clouds then as you get up towards southwest Nebraska and then into the Panhandle. On the way to the mid-70s this afternoon, could still see a gust or two close to 25 the rest of the way, but temperatures much warmer than they've been the past couple of days as we are just a couple degrees above average for this time of year too. So got that to look forward to. A couple chances for rain in the forecast too. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes.
Yeah, then thank you very much, Dominic. Developing now, people across the state and here in Lincoln are wondering where their new driver's license are. There's been questions about delays on the driver's license renewals, so we went straight to the source to see what's really going on. While you're waiting for your card to come in the mail, of course, you've got your 30-day temporary license. But when that expires and you still don't have your card, that's when they ask you to call. But we're hearing that callers just get a busy signal or are instantly put on hold. So our own reporter, Meg West, gave the DMV a ring.
If you have not received your permanent license or state ID card in the mail, press 1. Please remain on the line.
The first 2 times we called, we got a busy signal. Then the last time we were on hold for 5 minutes. We spoke to a director at the Nebraska DMV and asked about the license delays. She said they experienced some computer glitches while rolling out the new Real ID requirements, resulting in errors on some licenses. The department also switched vendors in this time. So as they complete their transition, they say they're being extra diligent in the quality control to ensure every license is accurate, and that takes time. New developments, a staple for young people in Lincoln, is finding a new life. This opportunity will be a place for the future of the Lincoln to grow and shine at the Malone Community Center. R.J. Coleman was at a ribbon cutting ceremony and explains why this is important to Capital City.
1, 2, 3.
A ribbon cut, a community center reborn.
We're not just opening a building. We're opening doors. Doors to hope.
The Malone Community Center was torn down 2 years ago to be rebuilt into something bigger and better. The new facility in East Lincoln spreads out 54,000 square feet, almost 3 times as big as the old center. Both Governor Jim Pillen and Mayor of Lincoln, Leron Gaylor Baird, in attendance for the historic moment and speaking on how much this new center is needed.
This is a gigantic day for everyone, for our community, for our state, and leadership matters.
Imagining all of the children and families who will walk through these doors and how their lives change for the better. The kids who are going to work on their jump shots in the gym, and the students who will build projects in the STEM Center.
The center at 21st and U will provide childcare, after-school programs, and so much more. It will be a place for growth while focusing on combating poverty and promoting unity and prosperity. John Goodwin, the CEO of the center, has big dreams in store.
This place was built for you. It was built for you in mind. For you to dream. For you to come inside and create. We are creators. We're not duplicators. We were born to create. And this is a space to where you come in to understand who you really are.
Reported in Lincoln, Jay Coleman, Channel 8 News.
Still ahead, Nebraska's ag leaders are urging the president to keep a trade deal in place, how it will save farmers millions of dollars in the long run.
Meet Lincoln's deal detectives at
agriculture groups are urging President Trump to keep a major trade deal in place. They are voicing their support for renewing the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreements, saying it's critical to Nebraska farmers and rural communities. The letter, signed by several ag groups, says that Mexico and Canada remain two of Nebraska's most important trade partners. They say the agreements helps keep U.S. ag products competitive through zero tariff trade, while supporting more than $1.6 billion in Nebraska agricultural imports.
Now, your Storm Alert Team forecast with meteorologist Dominic Ferraro.
And of course, happy Thursday, everybody. We're here to bring you the latest update from the U.S. Drought Monitor. Here's last week, the data for this collected on April 28th, and a fair amount of drought, especially as you get towards the western half of the state, and lots of this kind of red color here, that extreme drought. You don't usually like to see a whole lot of that, and then the portions of the panhandle there under that exceptional drought, which is the highest category of drought that the U.S. Drought Monitor has. Now, as we head then towards this week's data, unfortunately, not a whole lot of good news there. As we can see, that extreme drought expanded, especially for a few spots that were kind of avoiding that, but lots more of that kind of red color out there, and then another area of exceptional drought there just to the south of Interstate 80 there in portions of south central and southwest Nebraska. Even over here in the capital city, we saw a little bit of that moderate drought expand just a touch there off to the east. So again, as we take a look at your percentages across the state, it's been a very significant year for drought so far. In fact, nearly 90% of the state is under at least that moderate drought category. 60% of the state is under that extreme drought category. That's up 2.5% from just last week alone, and then now close to 5% of the state under that exceptional drought category. And those two made the biggest jumps over the last week or so, and that's not necessarily what you want to see, especially as we go towards a week here where we don't have a ton of rain in the forecast either. So we'd like to see a little bit more moisture here as we get into the summer months. Allo Communications camera bringing things back here to the capital city. Clear skies, lots of sunshine out there, and a little bit breezy, but not too bad. Should be manageable for anyone heading out to those lunch plans. 60s for most of us across the state. A few spots there still into the upper 50s. Mid 60s here in Lincoln, 62 in Beatrice, and Aurora now up to 63 degrees. Breezy for most of us out of the south and west, between 10 to 15 miles per hour, and a few spots there close to 20. But we will see those winds shift out of the north and west the rest of the afternoon, with an occasional gust there to up to 25. Clear skies, though, for the majority of the way here. A few passing clouds starting to work their way close to Hastings down there just to the south of Grand Island, but the majority of us are going to see lots of clear skies going forward into the afternoon. In fact, Stormcast does keep those clouds off to our west really through about dinner time, even closer to 9-10 p.m. here for Lincoln to start to see a few more clouds. A couple chances for showers out towards the west today, then a small chance for us to see a few passing showers early here on your Friday morning, and then better chances for precipitation off to the far southeast corner of the state then as we head towards Friday afternoon. In fact, these showers will try and linger just a little bit longer, maybe some good rain there for Gage County, and then off towards the far south and east as you get closer to Fall City. But then by your Friday evening, mostly clear skies across the state with the exception of a passing cloud or two. And that really is the case here as we head towards the start of your Saturday too. But then heading towards Saturday afternoon, we could see another chance for showers and possibly a rumble of thunder in southeastern and south central Nebraska. That starts up here as we head towards Saturday afternoon, mainly confined to the south of Interstate 80. Models have continued to trend this off towards the south over the past couple of days, and then it looks to be then just about it as we head towards your Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Hopefully we can get a little bit of moisture out of that. The severe threat at this time does remain low. This afternoon, we're on the way to temperatures in the mid to around the mid 70s, a few spots in the lower 70s, and then fairly typical overnight temperatures as we head from your Thursday night into your Friday morning, with overnight lows in the mid to upper 40s. Going through the rest of the week, temperatures staying on the warmer side, close to 80 degrees tomorrow, with a few more clouds out there. We do hit the 80s then for that Saturday forecast. Sunshine does return for Mother's Day, but that's also the last time we'll see the 70s here for some time, as we're looking forward then to some warmer temperatures as we head towards the middle of May.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Dominic. Coming up this midday, note unsealed what Jeffrey Epstein's allegedly said in writing before his first suicide attempt.
Please join us this
Now to the new details on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. A federal judge unsealing the notes reportedly written by the convicted sex offender before his death. ABC's Eric Katursky explains what this means in the overall case.
This is the cryptic one-page note that Jeffrey Epstein's former cellmate claims he found days after Epstein first tried to kill himself in jail. They investigated me for a month, found nothing, the note said. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? No fun, not worth it. Epstein's ex-cellmate, quadruple murderer Nicholas Tartaglione, claimed he found the note tucked in a book in July 2019 and the days after Epstein's first attempt at suicide, when jail guards said they found Epstein in his cell with a noose around his neck, and he appeared to be unresponsive. The note had been locked in a court file for years. A federal judge ordered it unsealed following a petition from the New York Times. There's no confirmation Epstein wrote the note, and in a jailhouse evaluation, he denied being suicidal, telling a psychologist, "I have no interest in killing myself." But photographs retrieved from Epstein's cell after he killed himself in August 2019 show other notes, including one with one of the same phrases, "no fun," and what appears to be similar handwriting. The note was unsealed hours after a member of President Trump's cabinet faced questions about his relationship with Epstein.
Why did you visit him after he pleaded guilty, Mr. Secretary of Sex?
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick testified he was Epstein's neighbor for more than a decade but had no personal or professional relationship with him. But in some of the more than 3 million pages of Epstein records released by the Department of Justice, emails show the two were in touch in 2011, then again for that island lunch in 2012, seen in this photo, and communicating through their assistants as late as 2018, more than a decade after Epstein first pleaded guilty to sex crimes.
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
Democrats say Lutnick should resign.
If Donald Trump had seen the video transcript, he would have fired Howard Lutnick. It was really embarrassing.
Republicans say Lutnick was transparent.
This is a habit of the Democrats on this committee coming out telling you all stuff that was said that was not said.
Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Coming up, gator shooting fallout. Why a controversial influencer could soon be going from social media fame to life behind bars.
Welcome to Comfort Made Mattress Factory's new location at South Point. Every mattress is built right here just for you. Any size.
Possibly facing jail time after a shocking video. He's one of the best-known faces of the so-called manosphere on social media, an influencer known for extreme content. But now the man known as Clavicular could end up behind bars because of a shooting of an alligator. ABC's Hannah Battah explains.
He's the face of the so-called looks-maxing community. A movement of young men who take extreme measures to improve their appearance. But now, Braden Eric Peters, who goes by the name Clavicular, faces criminal charges for firing a gun at an alligator while live streaming. Peters and 2 other influencers were streaming a boat ride through the Everglades in March when they came across the alligator. In the video, the 3 are seen unloading multiple shots and are now charged with a misdemeanor for unlawfully discharging a firearm in public. It's unclear if the alligator was alive at the time of the shooting. His attorney says Peters was following the instructions of a licensed airboat guide, adding no animals or people were harmed. It's just the latest controversy for the 20-year-old. He was arrested in March after being accused of instigating a fight between his girlfriend and a 19-year-old woman. Authorities claiming he posted the fight on social media to exploit the 2 women. Beyond his legal issues, Peters has faced criticism for the extremes he takes to improve his looks, including hitting himself in the face to improve his jawline.
If I punch myself in the face, I'm going to get like a nice mewed-up jaw.
Yeah, bone smashing's legit.
He admitted to using multiple medications to enhance his looks, even claiming to have taken meth to lose weight.
Peters is due in court in Florida later this month and could face jail time if found guilty. As for his arrest in March, he has not entered a plea. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Children's Nebraska.